the cars that could have been. Right. I don't even think Rapinta knows about this, and my wife Rapinta doesn't know about this. Well, she will now, right? Okay, let's get this bit over and done with. Okay, the cars that could have been. Now, there were a couple, to say the least, before I selected the one that I did in regards to Ferrari. It was a tough choice. It was a tough choice because when you're a kid, like when you're growing up, there's loads of cars that you like, right? It's never just one thing that you fixate on or anything like that. It's the whole point of dreaming. You don't just have one dream, okay? Let's face this. So, what were they? The first one, the very first one that I looked at is a car that's quite rare in the UK. It's only about, I think, a handful of them still registered in the UK as well, from the numbers that came here, that remain in the UK. There is one Punjabi person. Yeah, one Punjabi person who owns 3 of them. There's about 12 of these. And it is the SL65 AMG. Came out around 2004, 2005. So they're that classic kind of SL shape, just after the previous classic Super SL shape. And there's loads of classic SL shapes, but you know which one I mean. So I'll put a picture up here somewhere. So yeah, SL65 AMG. Why the SL65? I saw it once in Paris when I was out there for work, and I fell in love with the car. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't fall in love with the price of the car though at that point in time of 180 odd grand or whatever it was. It's something ridiculously priced, right? And it's like, wow, this thing is stunning. It's beautiful. It's really, really powerful. It's really, really fast. Beautiful, torquey V12 engine. And it just was amazing. And as I said, the SL was already a stunner anyway. This just gave it that extra muscle, that extra grunt. And to me, it was everything. And for years, I yearned after this car. I really did. Convertible as well, like the SLs are. We're going to get to convertibles in a second around this. But it didn't happen. For whatever reason, it didn't happen, you know. And bless, someone did actually try to offer me their one privately. And I really wanted it. I really wanted it, you know, but wasn't meant to be. That's it. What can you do? You know, well, when you're in that kind of position, then such is life. You just kind of carry on with it, you know, and okay, look, it's not going to happen. That's it. No worries. You kind of discard it to one side and carry on. Dealership had one as well. I test drove the one at the dealership. How can I put this? Roof up, everything is fine. Everything is fine with a roof up. And I don't care who you are, things in the world, I'm sure that you have got the same problem. Windows down, roof down. What comes next? This comes next. Literally, this is your face, right? Your beard is going up and up and up into your face and into your eyes. And I'm sorry, how can you even see where you're going, right? You know what? Stick it in the comments. I'm sure somebody has the answer somewhere about a wind deflector, putting the windows up and all that kind of stuff. But surely that takes away from the whole point of having a convertible, right? You put the convertible down, windows down. Oh yeah, wind in your face. And I'm telling you now, it's an occupational hazard. It's an occupational hazard. And considering one of my dream cars has a drop top, or drop back, as the case may be in this particular model of vehicle, you're like, what the hell, man? Like, come on. Like, there must be a Sing-friendly convertible out there. I'm sure that one of you guys know about it. I don't, right? And so the SL was kind of out from that perspective. But I dreamt of this car. You know, I really, really dreamt of this car. And for use case and for what it was going to be, it nearly happened. And as I said, it just wasn't meant to be, right? Which moves me on to the next one of what wasn't meant to be. The Porsche 996 Turbo S. It had to be the Turbo S because, again, not that many of them, really rare car. There's a couple of people. There's a really good YouTuber called Raj Sangha, Raj's Garage, car audio security guy. He has a 911 Turbo S, and I was lucky enough to speak to him personally and get some advice from him before even proceeding when looking at one. And yeah, just pause for a second. his collection of cars and provenance is awesome. You know, I'm just putting it out there. If you were ever looking for somebody to take a look at a car collection and go, wow, that's a car collection, Raj Sangar's your man, especially in Porsche land. Wow. I mean, phenomenal. But as I said, I test drove a convertible version of one once. I didn't like it. It was a really bad example, right? So this is what happens sometimes when you go looking for cars. Dream, but then also go and test drive the damn thing, right? Like, don't just have the dream and fixate everything on the dream. You've got to go and test drive these things, otherwise your dream's going to turn into a nightmare, right? So to give her a test drive, this convertible version of the 996 Turbo S, it was horrid, like absolutely horrid. I was like, no. And then I drove the coupe version of it. So, you know, solid top and everything else. Really beautiful car, unfortunately high miles, but I was like, okay, I'm not going to hold this against the car. It might be okay. You know, I'm going to give this a go. So took it for a test drive. It was really, really nice and strong and powerful and agile. All the things you expect of the Porsche. And given the fact that it was the Turbo S, and the Turbo S have the Metzger engine, which in layman's terms means it doesn't have the problems that the normal 996 engines have. In regards to IMS and bore scoring and all that stuff, and that's really boring technically type things. I don't have every single detail about those. Other people probably do. They are better than me at it. I can openly admit that. Go and speak to them. But yet, before you buy something like a 996 or 997 Porsche, definitely go and speak to people and get the whole thing inspected. Like you do with any car, right? It's lots of due diligence. Either which way. What stopped me with that car was that we were pulling out from a corner. I was like, okay. And I started turning the steering wheel. I was like, this is interesting. Like, bit more. Yep. I'm not what you would call a built bloke. Yep. I'm quite happy with I am, my frame, everything else. I've managed to get to this age and retain the sort of like figure and size. Yes, thank you. But unfortunately not the looks. I'm getting older. I kind of get it, right? Yeah, but I'm waffling now. I know I'm waffling now. I'm sorry. Okay, you know, you got to bear with me with this. This is new for me, right? So I'm going to waffle a little bit in these things, right? If I haven't put you off with the waffle, let's get back to the turning on this. It turned really horribly. Like, it was really hard, you know, and I was like thinking, is this me? And I was when I reached out to Raj Sangar, as mentioned previously, for advice, because I was like, is it just me? Is the car meant to do this? Like, is it really meant to be that hard? I don't think it's meant to be that hard, you know. I'm quite happy for the workout. It's going to give my arms, but I could imagine the pain of being at a corner, and there's lots of corners that we turn out of in life. I just didn't want to crash. It's like, okay. It's like, you know what? This is not a good look. Right. Okay. So it didn't happen. That was another one that was a dream, and it's like, yep, you know, I'd have a rare car and it would be going up in value like Porsches normally do, and they hold their value anyway. So, like, you know, if it didn't go up in value, it wouldn't get any worse, it wouldn't get any less. You know, all that kind of great stuff that makes you buy a Porsche in the first place, right? And as I said, some of you who know me know my daily driver, so we'll get to that in a later video, right? Porsche didn't happen. Then there was a Ferrari, but it's not the one I'm looking at. The Ferrari 612 Scaglietti. I know some people call it the 612 Ugly Betty. I get why you call it the Ugly Betty, but look, you know what? I was looking at it from the kid's perspective. I get my wife and kids in the car. There wouldn't be this argument of like if you had a two-seater car, which kid gets to go, which kid doesn't get to go, all that kind of good stuff. A little bit more newer than some of the classics. But unfortunately, I'm not going to name any names, but somebody who's quite, I suppose, prominent in the prestige car market, supercar market, they had one for sale, right? Went to take a look at it. The day I went to take a look at it, they said, oh, you know, well, we were trying to prepare this car for you to take a look at, and unfortunately, we broke the reversing steering lever. I'm like, hey, you what? Yes, we've broken the reverse steering lever. I'm like, wow, okay, that's not a great sign. They fixed that. Then they said the dashboard wasn't working. I was like, come on, man. Like, you're trying to sell me this car. You're telling me the dashboard's not working. I'm not really interested. Then they came to my house to give me a test drive. I'm like, look, in for a penny, in for a pound, you know, we'll try this out. It could be okay. We took it for a test drive, dashboard not working. And if Google Maps is telling you your speed, you kind of already know that this is not going to go in a really good way, right? It just isn't happening. But it looked really nice, and there'll be a bit of a clip of video of it coming out of my house and pictures when it was there. kind of thing. But yeah, that didn't happen either. That didn't happen either. And I was like, oh, it's a bit sad and a bit annoying, a bit frustrating. And then a very good friend of mine turned around and said to me, look, don't lose heart. Go and test drive the car you really want. You might really like it. You know when things are meant to be, right? So that's on you. You have an intuition as to whether things are good, bad, indifferent. So my intuition was telling me when it came to the Scaglietti, that this is not one for me. There was the possibility of a Lambo, a Lamborghini, but as I said in the jokes, Lamborghini, my name, wasn't going to really happen. At least with Mercedes, you could have Mercedes. At least with Porsche, Porsche Rinda. With Ferrari, you can see what I've done already. I think that's quite intelligent. But with Lamborghini, where'd you go? Yeah, Lamborghini, no, it's not happening. So there's been lots of guesses as to what I'm getting, right? It's a Ferrari, right? Great, okay. There's been some really strange guesses, like Testarossa. Do I look like I'm from Miami Vice way back in the day and wearing espadrilles and all that kind of stuff, and white jackets and turquoise t-shirts? It's not me, right? It's not a Testarossa. Sorry, Taz. If you're watching this, Matt, mate, I'm really, really sorry. It's not that. But what it is still a V12 Classic. And stay tuned, because things are going to get towards the reveal very, very soon. But before we get to the reveal, there will be videos and informationals in regards to why, the whats, the wherefores, the things you do, the things you don't do, all that kind of great stuff. So that's going to come in a few days' time. But one thing I do want to do is thank everybody for getting me to this point. I'm nearly 1,000 subscribers. I didn't think that was going to happen so quickly. So thank you very much. Really, it takes a lot for people to actually hit the like or subscribe button. It's not an easy thing to do, even though it doesn't cost you anything. So if you haven't done it yet, please do hit like and subscribe. The more the merrier. I promise you it's not going to be a boring journey. It's going to be an interesting one, especially with someone who looks like me.